Get started. For visitors, I'd like to introduce myself, Joe Patchen. I'm the president of the Dublin Worthington Rotary Club, and we're pleased to have you today. This is the 11th meeting of our 51st year of our club, and to lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance, I believe Al Wu will do the honors. Al, thank you.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Robin, would you make an introduction of our guest who put down his fork just in time?
Worthington resident just started a new business and wanted to get out and expand his network. So,
And Ro has some guests to announce for us too. You can. We'll get you after announcements. Okay. Dude, we have to eat too. I understand. Thank you. All right. Uh, if you have announcements, please come on up. I know that Jim, you may want to address points vis-a-vis poinsettias. And I see Don coming up, and I know what you're going to be talking about, I hope. And Jerry always has something to say. I mean that in the most loving way.
Well, I want to have a great appreciation for the club. Is this working?
I can't tell. Okay,
It is
good. Thank you.
We've sold over 550 poinsettias. That's a little short of our goal, but it's we only had 2 meetings to announce and promote and expand on. But the main thing is pick up your poinsettias today. If you haven't picked them up already, they are located at the Worthington Education Center, and that's at 200 East, not West, East, Wilson Bridge Road. So please pick up your poinsettias. There has been a lot of great sales. Teresa sold 116, so right at one. And we're helping deliver some of them, and she's delivering some. She's got a long trip to go to she did so good. And Dick actually here right in fall. It's good. Had 93 poinsettias. He's the second place seller. Thanks for the help last night. It went quite quickly. It went an hour and 20 minutes to just sort it. That's quite a task. So I appreciate everybody's help. If you're scheduled to deliver poinsettias for someone signed up for that section, please come this afternoon. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Go in through the front desk, and then they'll direct you back to go around the stairs and go around.
Speaking today about NGSE, we had Brazilians coming in on January 24th to the 30th, about 5 days. It's a nice extension. And we're now starting to look for posts that would like to house these four ladies and one gentleman. Their occupation is in the educational area. And they're very English oriented and, what we're trying to do now is to set up a program so that they will be down at the State House, down with OSU, down with research education opportunities, and meetings and with host families, getting to know us as individuals. So I and our committee will start in the next 3 weeks. Put that together, if you have an interest in joining in, need some nice people from South America. Myself, Dave Anson, Skip here, Dave Pickering. Thank you.
The rest of us is just covered.
Now at retailrest.com, start browsing. Maybe now at retailrest.com.
Well, we have, really good, big bang for your resource here in the next 40, 15 years. And, in talking with Ned, he's never going to run down funding. And so, please consider, the William Food Pantry for the donation. And who all came out today? You're all here. The Afghan community will not. They're home, ready to come out. And that is witnessed by our own food pantry, William Food Pantry. They have saved fewer than they did 6 months ago. As you know, my daughter's an immigration attorney in the Washington DC area. A number of approved clients have been. They are scared to death. They don't know what's happening, they have no information, and they too are suffering benefits that they no longer get. So it's a widespread problem. We are a club that helps. So obviously, it's going. But yeah. If you make
We still are helping. And that's what we're already doing. And a hundred of those families, we staff on this. So.
Speak up.
Yeah.
They wanted the single 2-week transfer portal
All right.
the first 2 weeks of January. They voted for it. Like they said. So when I hear these coaches saying, well, NCAA, they really got this calendar screwed up, that's not true. They all voted on it. The American Football Coaches Association voted. They sent it to the presidents. They said, good, that's what you want, that's what you get. While it's weird timing, it's certainly not surprising to any of them because this is what they voted for. Now maybe it'll change eventually. As far as the Brian Hartline situation, the dream scenario for every Buckeye fan was that he would stay and keep being a rock star in the recruiting and evolve as a play caller, and then eventually become the logical successor to Ryan Day. Whatever that would be. Ryan Day racks up another couple titles, wants to Jason Lombardi, I don't know. But I think that was the idea. And it's not that nobody fan will probably favor absurd to think that could happen. Now these left are coming back with, well, he wants to be the head coach here.
Hey, oh, wow, we have the family, we did help them with some rent for, I think, a couple of months. And, I invite you to, if you have any money left over, you can call the food people and everybody else. Your foundation can use help, even though we do appreciate those of you who give across the year. If you've got extra left over, please, let Jerry know and hand him a check, I appreciate it.
He wants to, like you said, challenge himself elsewhere.
Well,
Sure, if you're Heartline, you gotta look at where Day is and think, this job
It is my distinct pleasure and honor to two of our full winners students here today. These gals who are, if you join me up here, either and Mia, are co-presidents of the Worthington Kilbourne High School Internet Club. And they're here to share with you a little bit about what they've been working on this past year. And unfortunately, they're seniors. Good for them, and that's so good for us. But they have a plan, and they shared it with me for their continuity of the club. And I'm excited for them and for the Kilbourne Club and the Perry Club that is now feeding into their club. It's been very helpful in helping them to grow and prosper. So without further ado, Mia and Lisa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Iva, and I'm Mia. Again, we're seniors at Worthington Kilbourne High School, and this is our third year leading the Interact Club, and we're just really grateful to have spent so much time with it. So far, we had lots of service opportunities that we've organized for our club and our students. We volunteered at High Banks Metro Park. We repaved a gravel trail there. We did a hygiene drive for our school, collecting hygiene items for children in foster care. We worked for Children's Hunger Alliance, packaging food or meal packages, and just to name a few. We've also done this event with my very own blanket every single year, and this is where we make Thai blankets for kids in foster care, and we send it to their organization. And we have a lot of fun doing this event every year. Yes. So our club has grown, especially this year. We are up to about 50 active members in our group. Thank you. And we're really excited about these growing numbers and interest in Interact at Kilbourne, and are hoping to continue growing after Isaac, as we've started to introduce new officers in younger age groups that are very invested in Interact and want to continue to grow. So we are hoping to hold the My Very Own Blanket event again this month, and would appreciate your help in purchasing 20 Tide blankets. We have 5 left over from last year. And like we said, this event is a crowd favorite. We get our highest numbers of participation and interest in our group following this event. And thank you so much for your continued support. And we are grateful to be able to lead this club. Thank you.
That's terrific. I appreciate it. Handing off to our sergeant, Teresa Russell. Watch out.
We didn't mean to sound so menacing, but Scott,
We have three. One certainly is recorded 27. Two is the outcome of this past weekend's game against that team of and the great outcome. And the $3 is my granddaughter is in the quarterfinals for rugby championship this next person that she picked for Seattle College. And if some of you remember, she used to be on the football team. So what she does, she handles rough play.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Dave.
Yes, I have a happy hour here. Thanks to the weathermen. We're especially happy to get down to Veracruz with sun and sand. We'll be leaving next Sunday. I'd like to remind you all that you have an open invitation to come down to visit with us for a week while we're there. We will be coming back about mid-April, so there's lots of time there. We have many Rotary colleagues down there, friends to interact with, also a number of projects that we're looking at. So please give a thought to it. If you have these long winter days here and want to take a week off with your spouse or whomever, we'd be happy to host you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My son and his family live a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old who are here for Thanksgiving for a week. And they left on Saturday and get up at 4:30 and get to the airport. So I was happy that they were here and happy to be back.
well, I have $5, because we too spent time with our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, in a place called Deep Creek, Maryland. Some of you have probably been there. But this would have been a $10 bill, but I got shut out for my championship tickets and yes. Holiday weekend in Chicago with my granddaughter. I know what her father and mother names is. But I'm happy to report that she is still the cutest granddaughter on the planet.
1990, I had an exchange student through a Rotary Club. Costa Rica. And afterward, he went back home, and his dad was a doctor. He wanted his son to become a doctor. Well, it didn't happen. He started flying. And flying for Costa Rica Airlines 737. And his mother was on a plane. They flew into San Francisco. And he went to rent a car. He wouldn't let him rent a car. He flew the plane in, he couldn't get a car. And the other thing is, Antonio is coming to town Friday. He's flying for American Airlines. So I'm picking him up at the airport. We're having dinner at Jennifer's house. And he's flying out. But I think it's neat. He was here in 1990. We've been friends ever since. one of my grandkids just graduated from the Secret Service. And his first assignment was the White House last week. He was on perimeter duty with the polls started flying.
Okay, for the sake of our getting to our, you guys, we have a presenter and he is already cut way short. I'm so sorry. Just call in. Yeah, I know you're happy to go in and probably. Okay. Very good. Guys, thank you very much. I think we've been a little long in the announcements and we're sorry, Jeremy, for cutting into your speaking time, but real quick, does anybody know that today is National Give a Hug Day? Who has not given a hug to somebody today? $100. How about that? The win over the team up north, who was happy for that? All right, throw in another dollar, make it two. Does anybody know the significance of the gold pants when they beat that team up north, the Buckeyes get the gold pants? Does anybody know what that is about? You know what year it started?
Yeah, I do, 1953.
Everybody put a dollar in. It's 1934. And it was by a book that the coach, Francis Schmidt, said Michigan puts their pants on North Lincoln Times, same as everybody else. Which means they are men just like us, and we can still be us. Go back.
Thank you, Teresa. I have the privilege of introducing our speaker today, Jeremy Bradshaw. Bradstreet. I knew that. I have it written right in front of me. And while the dollars are being collected, I will try to persevere. So, Jeremy is a Dublin dad, a recently retired Dublin band director, educator. He is a coach. He is an author, and he's going to talk to us about his book today, Shape Your Outcome. And he has also agreed to stick around afterwards because we knew we were going to run a little short because I started this a little late too. And if we have any further questions and want to talk to him further, he'll be around. And here he is. Jeremy, thank you very much.
Manipulate the microphone and the clicker though. I'm a percussionist, I'm a drummer, so I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this. Good morning, everybody. I'm driving just north of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, on my way up to Denton, Texas. And in my rearview mirror, I see what I'm going to call a Yahoo driving behind me. It was a person weaving in and out of traffic very aggressively. And we see what he was doing. I saw what he was doing. And sure enough, it becomes my turn for him to drive aggressively to me. He comes in and he misses my front left bumper by 2 feet. We're driving 70 miles an hour. I wasn't very happy. So I decided to communicate with him with the one finger that I have that communicates the best. I apologize. Kid ears on this one. Okay, I apologize. But I showed him with my finger what I felt in that moment. Well, what I didn't expect was at 3 car lengths, he decides to brake check me at 70 miles an hour. I slammed on my brakes to avoid hitting him. He then pulls next to me. He rolls down his window. He gets side by side with me, and we're driving down the freeway. He starts screaming at me of what he was going to do to me once we got out of the car. Well, let me just tell you, I didn't want this moment to happen, but I earned this moment through the situation that I found myself in and how I reacted. If I put this formula in front of you, being from Worthington, Ohio, and Dublin, Ohio, this has resonance here, and I'll talk about this. But how many people already know what this formula means? If you just see it, how many people? A couple people. Great. So if you know what it means, I'm going to add some new things here for you. So there's some new stuff. But E plus R equals O stands for this. It stands for event plus response equals outcome. The event was I got cut off. My response was I flipped them off. The outcome that I received was one of the most dangerous moments of my life.
I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. And so what happens is you can't control the events that happen to you, but you can control your response. And in that response shapes your outcome. The people that were driving behind me that he didn't engage with, they did a different response. He was weaving in and out of them. They chose to ignore him. And that was their response. The outcome that they received is he just went on his way. He didn't bother them. He was looking to engage somebody. And I fell for the trap. And so what this gets into is my journey. And my journey has been a fun journey. I'm excited to be on it. I've written 2 books. While I was a band director at Dublin Kaufman High School, I wrote 2 books. One's called Make Your Footprints. It's for young adults. It's about the lessons that school doesn't have time to teach you. It talks about compound interest and debt and how to buy a used car and how to not worry about things when things don't go your way. And then the other one is what I'm here to talk to you about, shape your outcomes. The other thing that's up there is in 2018, I was honored to be a finalist for a Grammy Award. I was one step away from winning the National Music Educator of the Year by the Grammy Foundation. They were going to fly my wife out. My wife was finally going to get to meet Kelly Clarkson, and I didn't pull through, and now she's mad at me. I can't get out of it. But it's been a neat journey, and now I'm on a new journey, and I'm excited here to talk to you guys today. Talking about equals articles, it's a neat little path that dates back almost 2,000 years. The book that I've written is the only book written solely on E plus R equals N. Full book, it's only discussing E plus R equals N, but it gets into all the nooks and crannies of E plus R equals N. A Worthington graduate from many moons ago, sadly he passed away about 1.5 years ago, contributed to Urban Meyer's book Above the Line, and that's where you'll find a couple of pages talking about E plus R equals N in Urban Meyer's book. And I'm going to start on this one. If you ever heard of Jack Canfield's Chicken Soup for the Soul books, one of his books called The Success Principles, chapter 1, page 1, he talks about E plus R equals N, but it was only a chapter. And that's where I felt this is a good enough discussion that resonates from kids, 5th graders on up to 90-year-olds. That this discussion can resonate. That's why I decided to write my book. But before that, you might have heard of a book called The Oz Principle. If you're into culture training, leadership styles in companies and families, it's a great book. Some of this resonates with that. Many of us know Stephen Covey's Highly Effective People. If you remember in it, he writes about response ability, that you have the ability to choose your response. And he talks about that in his book. And then one of the greatest books of all time, top 10 books ever written. He survived at Auschwitz, and in 1946, he wrote a book about it. Viktor Frankl was A Man's Search for Meaning. Are you ready for this? My deep dive has gone all the way to Stoic philosophy. If you told me 6 years ago I would be have read many books on Stoic philosophy, I would say that's not me. But the works of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius is all about E plus R equals N. It just doesn't have the formula. So check out this quote. This is from 2,000 years ago. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." 2,000 years ago, he wrote this. It's not what happens to you. It's not the event, but how you react to it, your response that matters, the outcome. So we've been talking about this for a long, long time. And so you might be thinking, well, where does this come into my life? Why would this bald guy, old band director, talking to you about this type of stuff? So these are things that might come up, that might resonate with you. How many of you have ever read a strongly worded message criticizing your work? You get that, and you have to respond to it. There's ways to respond to it. How many of you have ever been in a situation where a coworker misses a deadline? Well, there's a situation. You have to realize how you respond to it is going to create the outcome. And lastly here, how many of us have ever had a flight that gets delayed, and we're sitting here and we want to get angry, but that's a perfect example. No one controls the weather. The person behind the ticket counter that is not, in a great day because it's stacked with people needing to change their flights. But it teaches us how to control the things that we can't control. So I created this. This is my nuance. If you know about E plus R equals O, this is a little bit different. This is my spin on it. As I got to be a teacher, I've taught this to kids, I've taught this to adults, my own family. We try to prescribe this, but the very first one is stop to gain clarity. If you take a look at Victor Frankl's book, he talks about between stimulus and response, you have a choice. Those are his words back from 1946. And what's neat about that is he's talking about this moment right here. When something happens in your life, the first thing that you need to do is stop. And we're wanting to gain clarity of the situation. The second step, and these are meant to be followed step by step. The second thing that we need to do is think to gain perspective. What happened in the situation? And here's the biggest problem that happens to most people is we think about our perspective. We don't think about someone else's perspective. But what I love here, I'm going around talking to some Rotary clubs. Right down here, number 4. Well, it's really low. Oh, I'm just going to put my backwards. Number 4, will it benefit all concerned? That's the 4th part of the 4-way test. And when we start thinking about how are we going to respond, there's a great way to respond to make your life happy, and then there's a second way to respond to make everybody happy. And it goes right along with that 4-way test. Adjust and adapt. This is a neat one. This is the 3rd thing that we're supposed to do. And this comes out of Stoic mindset as well. In adjust and adapt, the words were written, the obstacle is the way. And I love that. Joe and I were talking a little bit before lunch here, talking about that when kids go on, 20-year-olds on, 30 and 40-year-olds on, if we don't realize that there is no straight path to a childhood, no straight path to your professional career, no straight path to being a parent, there are obstacles every single day, every single moment, and it's adjusting and adapting to it that makes it really important for us to understand. And then we finally get to initiate action. And what I love to do here, this is the action step. This is where you give your response. The thing I want to point out is back in Texas, I skipped all of these and went right to initiate action. I put no thought into what I was going to say to this person who cut me off. I didn't stop to gain clarity. I didn't think about their perspective. If I would have thought about their perspective, I would probably thought, you know, this guy's having a bad day. I probably should just adjust them down to move over and let this guy pass me. You know, so it's these types of things that get us through these difficult challenges. And what I love here is the last step is we all have a chance to reflect, because in reflection, we might realize that we didn't respond very well. We might have responded poorly, but by reflecting, we get to go back to step 1 and try it again and try and make things better. How many of us have ever been in a situation where we spoke not great to a colleague, and the next day we thought to ourselves, you know what? I need to go back and refresh that conversation. That's that reflection piece. We go back to the beginning and talk about it. So what's neat about this, what's neat about E plus R equals O for me, and these 5 stair steps, is this isn't rocket science. This is not high-end behavioral, cognitive behavioral therapy. This is easy things to talk about that young kids can figure out and old kids can figure out as we go. So let me tell you a quick story about what happened to me a couple of years ago. So I get an email from the principal, and the principal says to me, he said, Jerry, will you have a talk with one of your kids? They just let off a state bomb in the English wing, and we had to evacuate the entire English wing, and he's going to get suspended. We got to talk with this young man. You got a good relationship. I said, great. So we teach E plus R equals O. It's a part of our culture. He knows it inside and out. We talk about it on the good days. We talk about it on the bad days. So I sit the young man down, and I have to tell you, in my career, I have taught 9 students who've scored a perfect score on the ACT. A perfect score on the ACT. This young man was not one of them. He was not very gifted in this way. And so I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk about E plus R equals O. I don't think, well, I don't even know what's going to happen in this moment. So I sit him down and I said, so it sounds like we had an E happen. Can you tell me about it? And he looks at me and I knew he was going to get it wrong. I knew he was going to say that he pulled the can stick spray. And he looked at me and he said, Mr. Bradstreet, I was handed a can stick spray. Fuck himself. He nailed it. Absolutely, he nailed it. And I looked at him and I said, what outcome were you hoping for in that moment? And he said, I didn't think about it. I said, okay, now let's go back to your response. What was your response? He said, I opened the can of stick spray. He's nailed it, 100% perfect score so far. And then I said, what outcome did you earn? And he said, I got suspended from school. And I said, yeah. And so what we then did is we then talked through the stair steps. We talked about, okay, when this event happened, what are some other responses that we could have, what other outcomes? And it's great because it's just a simple verbiage for you to have that line of communication. Again, think about when the coworker misses the deadline, when you get that email that criticizes your work. How do you respond? There are some simple steps that go along with doing this. So this is a reactive method. I love it. I wrote a book about it. But in one of my chapters, I wanted to try something new with this. And I came up with what I call the gear method. And if you look real closely, I'm sorry, I get out of the way here. If you look really closely, oh my gosh, with the it's very hard to see on this here, but if you look very closely, it has G, GE, AR, and GO. E plus R equals O is still found in this, but I use it in a different way. I use it to be proactive. I don't know about you, but when I wanted things in life, I went after it. I didn't wait for things to happen to me. If I wanted a job, if I wanted something, I went after it and I created these events. So this is all about generating events to awaken responses to guide outcomes. So let me tell you a story about this. So I'm at Park City High School, and that's where I started my career. Wonderful community, wonderful band. It was great. But my dream job was up in Coughlin High School. It's where I went to school. It's where my wife went to school. I wanted to give back to the community and the band that gave me so much. That's where I went. But the job, you know anything about teaching, you get a good job, you don't leave a really good job. You stay in that school district. You stay in there. So the person that had my dream job was about my age, and he was never going to leave. Well, guess what? I found out that he was interviewing at a school nearby. And I thought to myself, I need to generate an event. So what did I do? I immediately went back and I called up the band director, my former band director, and I said, would you be interested in talking shop? Would you be interested in talking about being a band director? I knew he didn't know. He didn't know at all that he was going to have a job opening. So he said, yeah, why don't you come by at the end of the week on Saturday and we'll have a conversation. It's great. So I show up and we talk for an hour and a half about being a band director. And at the end, he was like this. He says, Jeremy, no one knows this, but I think I have a job opening at our school. And I went like this. Really? You could have handed me the Academy Award. I mean, I would have accepted the Academy. I was the best actor that you could be. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah. And he said, are you interested? Of course I'm interested. Well, then he said this, I'll call HR, I'll talk to the principal. I want you to be first in line to get an interview for that job. And isn't that what we can ask for? Get in the room and have that ability to sell yourself. But I could have done something else. I could have waited for it to happen and not be first in line, or I could have created an event to awaken the response to guide my outcomes. So again, for what are proactive events here? We know there's through Nike advertising. You can't tell me that Nike shoes are better than anybody else's shoes. However, they do this. They awaken a response in you. They have an advertisement that awakens it that says, I need to buy Nike shoes. And that's one thing that they are proactive events. Kobe Bryant's workouts, when Kobe was playing, he knew that he was going to be surrounded by all these people that were just as gifted in basketball as he was. So he figured he needed to outwork everybody. So what did he do? Before everyone got up, he put in a 4 a.m. workout by himself. The team then showed up at 8 o'clock, and then he worked out with them. They left, and then he did another workout after that. That is how he created his dominance in the basketball world. And one of my favorite, Ronald Reagan's speech at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, where he told Gorbachev to tear down this wall. He doesn't have control of this moment. He can't tear down this wall. But what he did, he sat there in front. He generated an event that awakened the awareness, and great things happened after we were able to unblock Berlin, Germany. So I've been going around and talking to Rotary groups, and I have to tell you that having used yours probably for a long time, this is one of the best examples of generating events. But taking a look at our history, we wanted to, way back when, the Rotary Club wanted to eradicate polio from the world. That was something that the Rotary Club thought would be a great outcome. So what did they do? In 1979, they generated an event in the Philippines to eradicate polio by vaccinating 6 million kids. That alone is an amazing feat, but it doesn't eradicate it from the world. What happened then? We awakened a response of the United Nations. Hey, how about you helping out? It awakened with the World Health Organization, awakened with the Gates Foundation. Now we have multiple groups doing what the Rotary Club did way back in 1979. And by generating an event, it got others to do it. And now in 2025, we're at 99.9% of the population having eradicated polio. And it's because of this organization that they generated an event where it was able to do that. So now, again, if you have a lot to talk about this afterwards, you can tell I'm geeked up. I'd love to talk to you more about it. But real quick, this has a method as well. And what you do is you stop to envision the outcome. You then pay attention to meaning. And here's it goes along with the third one. And that is you need to align your meaning with other people's meaning. You have to find people who feel passionate like you do. You then reveal the event. That's the action step. And lastly here, we kindle the response. In 1979, we kindled the response of polio to awaken everybody else to join in and do the same fight that you guys wanted to fight. So now let's just talk about what the benefits are, and I'll be on my way here. I know we're running a little bit behind time. But what benefit is this to you? So with E + R = O, this helps you navigate the uncontrollable outcomes, the things that you can't control. It allows you to get the outcome that you hope to do. It gives you tools to use when being confronted. If you follow the stair steps, you have at least a plan of attack on how to proceed when life throws you curveballs. It also helps you with the simple moments and the complex moments. I'm going to tell you this. In a professional situation, I'm really good at this. I didn't have to be too much trained in how to be good at E + R = O. But I'm going to tell you about my failures. My failures are when I go home. I don't know about you, but I have a professional filter that when I'm at work, I can navigate work really well. But when I get home and one of my twin boys says something, I can go from 0 to 60 faster than a Tesla Plaid. And the bad thing is I trained my kids on this. And they look at me and they go, Dad, you didn't stop to gain clarity now, did you? And I'm like, oh gosh. So it's one of these things that allows you to work through these complex and simple moments. And lastly, it provides a line of communication. You don't have to believe in our E + R = O, but it happens. Events will happen on your way home. You're going to get an email here, a little bit of whatever happens. It will happen to you. What this does gives you a simple line of communication for you, your team, your family. It's great because you're all speaking the same language. Lastly, here with the GEAR formula, what are the benefits? It helps leaders give permission for people to be proactive. I don't know about you, but many people come in and you'll give them a task to do and they'll do it to 100% and it'll be amazing. But you want people to do tasks and then come back and say, hey, I completed the task just like you asked me to. I think I found a way to make it faster. I think I found a way to make it better. I think I found a way to be something better that our company can look at, our family can look at. That's what we want to do. It helps my career. I already gave you the example here of myself, positioning myself in a place of employment. Maybe it helped you get a raise, help you get a new position, whatever you're looking for, but you're generating events this way. It also helps parents with something that's interesting. And in my day, I got a summer job. I got a job all through high school because I needed gas money. I had a girlfriend, and my parents wouldn't buy me any clothes. Well, my sons don't ask me for a lot of clothes, but they don't have a girlfriend, and they also don't have to worry about spending money for gas. With COVID and stuff like that, they're their own bodies. So I'm having to generate new events in my brain, motivate my kids to awaken their responses. And lastly, it helps organizations with planning and execution. Again, by having a consistent dialogue with a step-by-step method and a formula that's easy to understand only makes things better. So I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to challenge you. In the next 48 hours, I just want you to think about how this might impact your life. trying to get your brain going. Where is it that you might find it in your business? Where might you find it in your home life? Where is it that you might find that this comes to you? Because the thing is that with a proper plan and proper mindset, these things become easier. And the key word is they become intentional. When you're intentionally about thinking about things, great things can happen. So I just want to thank everybody for allowing me to come in. I got to talk to the Worthington Rotary, the Rose City Rotary, I've got the Short North Rotary, speak to some churches and stuff like that. But if you have any questions, I'd love to answer anything. But I do understand that we're under a time limit. So I'll be here. I'm able to hang out if you have any questions. So thank you so much for allowing me to come.
Thank you much, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Harry will now be conducting our raffle. Bring your luck, everyone.
We got, one. Is $931. And it is the glasses. 525. 6525.
Oh, Darnell.
Thank you, ladies.
Very close. All right, folks, it's time for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do first. Second. Third. And fourth. Thank you. We are adjourned. Return your badges. See you next time.
But I think some of these big boy jobs like Penn State, obviously that was
Really